Hey Team Shuckle, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of Double Trouble. Today we're doing a 6v6, basically Smogon doubles. It's the Pokemon Doubles League. It's something that I am a co-admin of. Chucho, who we battled yesterday, is the creator of. And yeah, today we're battling Juan, and you know, he knows where to get me. He knows where to beat me up. If you haven't caught on for the past few things, Rain is one of those styles that I can't play, and I have an immense difficulty beating. So of course, during the draft, Juan had to just grab the Rain team, of course. But you know what? I kind of worked my way through it. You know, I have a few Pokemon on my team that do handle Rain pretty well. He doesn't have any Lightning Rod absorbers, so I'm not entirely too worried about his Rain. So, you know, looking at his team, he brought only Politoed. My main concern was that Ludicolo. Ludicolo is probably one of the hardest Pokemon to beat, especially with my team. I don't have anything to hit it super. Well, I do have Sludge Bomb on my Goodra, but either way. So, like, I was debating what to bring, and I settled on Raichu for my Rain team. And the reason I settled on that is because it has Thunder, and I figured Thunder would be fantastic for his team. You know, he's going to be bringing the Rain. We're going to be fighting with the weather anyway, so I might as well just let him have the Rain for one turn so I can use my Thunder to kill his Politoed. And that's all I needed to do. So that's why I brought Raichu. I brought Goodra because, you know, Goodra is really good against Rain. Really good against Rain. I was gonna bring Sap Sipper, but then I thought about it and I was just like, he's got a Chansey and a Sableye. I need to bring a Hydration Goodra because he's gonna be bringing the Rain, so the Rain's gonna provide like a status-free environment. So I needed to bring Goodra. Now, I was having, you know, some thoughts about Goodra. You know, I originally used this on my Rain team. I used this on a couple of things as well, and I had Muddy Water. And, you know, I really didn't like it, but I kept it on because I was like, this guy's got a Rain team. I get the boost. That's going to be great. I can take advantage of him switching in on my Charizard and just go for Muddy Water. But in hindsight, I really should have switched it out for Thunderbolt. I have a really awesome Goodra on my latest Trick Room team, and it has great coverage. It's got Draco Meteor, I think, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Flamethrower. That's great, but Muddy Water does nothing for me. Now Sludge Bomb is cool because, you know, Sludge Bomb does hit the fairies, but either way. So, you know, I decided to start off with Raichu and Charizard. You know, looking at his team, Charizard is going to be the win condition for me. If I can get rid of that Politoed, Charizard, Goodra, and Mienshao can really just rampage through his team. So he starts off with Ferrothorn and Sableye, and I start off with Raichu and Charizard. Now, I sort of figured he'd bring in Politoed this first turn, you know, to get rid of the Rain, and I fell into the same trap that I did at Worlds. I forget that switching doesn't take priority, or it has priority over Mega Evolving. So I probably could have just not protected here, but I protected here just to sort of scout out what was going to happen, and this way it gives me a safe switch out and full HP next turn. But I really should have just gone for Heat Wave here. I decided to go for Focus Blast onto the Ferrothorn because, you know, I figured since I wasn't attacking with my Charizard, right? He actually switches into Chansey, and Chansey's one of those things that I know I can one-shot with my Mienshao, but my Mienshao's really weak, and I can't really afford to bring him in on moves. So, you know, I'm in a bit of a bind with this Chansey, but I'm not too worried about the Chansey, you know. It's not that threatening to me, to be quite honest with you. So I go for another Focus Blast on it. It's not doing good damage. I'm not happy with that damage, but I'm just going to keep attacking. So he did bring in the Politoed, and, you know, obviously my Heat Wave misses, and it's not going to do much. You know, the miss really did not matter because it's a Chansey. I mean, it would have eaten that up very easily. So now I'm poisoned, and I'm thinking, God, I don't know what to do. So I decided to bring out my Charizard here because I didn't want to take a Scald to the face, even though I just didn't think Thunder would kill it. I go for Thunder on the Politoed, but it outspeeds me. So I'm thinking, oh my god, it's Scarf. This thing is Scarf. I thought he'd go for the Charizard. The Charizard is the biggest threat to his team. The Raichu really only hits the Politoed. You know, I have other things for the Politoed. I don't really have to worry too much about the Politoed as long as I can get rid of the Politoed. So I was just like, oh god, what am I doing? What am I doing? So I lost my Raichu, and I was like, I need another way to kill this Politoed. I need another way to kill this Politoed. But I decided to just go for a double attack on this Chansey. I figured it would be the best bet, do a lot of damage. I've got the Sun now, so I'm going to go for Heat Wave. I'm going to go for Fire Blast. I have Fire Blast for some reason on this. It's a very weird Goodra. But, the Protect. But I'm glad I noticed the Protect because, you know, Mienshao doesn't like Protect. It doesn't like it at all. So I'd have to, you know, make sure to play around that. So he goes for, you know, Recover again, which is not going to help him. It's not going to help him at all because this Heat Wave will kill him after that. Didn't really make a difference. So Sableye goes down. That's great. You know, Sableye is a pretty annoying Pokemon. But I went for Muddy Water. I went for Muddy Water because I really thought he'd bring in Politoed, and I wanted to kill the Sableye, the more importantly. So I went for Muddy Water, and that was just such a bad play because Fire Blast probably would have done a little bit more. And I'm so upset at that. So he actually does bring in the Politoed this turn, and I'm like, oh, what can I do? What can I do here? You know, this Politoed's going to kill my Charizard. It's fast. So I'm going to actually just switch out, you know. I don't want to risk my Charizard. I'm going to bring in Mr. Mime because I'm figuring you're a little specially defensive. You can probably take a hit. Scald does come my way, and of course Mr. Mime can't take a hit. Now I brought Mr. Mime specifically because he drafted Noivern, and Noivern outspeeds my entire team and can do a lot of damage to my team. So I was really worried about that. But yeah, so I go for Draco Meteor. It does good damage, I'll be quite honest with you. It did about what I expected. I was hoping a little bit more, but it's not the end of the world. So he ends up switching out, and I'm like, why would you switch out? I don't want you to switch out, you know? But I don't want to switch out my Goodra because I'm really nervous about taking hits. So I end up bringing Cresselia, who can take hits really well. I go for Draco Meteor again because I figured even at -2 I'd still probably kill that Politoed, and it's scarfed into Scald, which my Goodra can take and my Cresselia can take, so I wasn't too worried. Cresselia is really bulky, and I really like Cresselia for that. I like how when it's level 100, Chansey's Seismic Toss does so much damage, but at level 50, you know, it's not really the greatest of a move. So he goes for Protect here, and I switched out Goodra because I did not want to take any kind of attack. I just wanted to keep my Goodra alive, and this way, you know, I can attack this Zapdos. I go for Psyshock. I really need to change it to Psychic. I say that almost every time, but I don't like Psyshock on this thing. Probably would have done a little bit more damage. He goes for Thunder, which really doesn't do anything, and I loved that it did not do anything. I go for Dazzling Gleam, and I go for Moonblast onto the Zapdos, thinking that'd be enough to KO the Zapdos, but according to my luck, it's almost. Now, I did get the special attack drop, which could matter. It is a specially attacking Pokemon, so it is pretty important, but the way my Cresselia took that Thunderbolt, you know, I don't really think it mattered too much, because I do have leftovers, so it probably would have just dipped me slightly below. Yeah, so I knew that this Chansey was going to go for Protect. Why wouldn't it? So I go for Fake Out on the Zapdos. Of course, my opponent, being as good as he is, predicted that. He didn't actually Protect with this Chansey at all. And I'm like smacking myself in the face because I'm like, really? I even attacked the Chansey with my damn Cresselia. What am I doing? So I probably could have killed that Chansey right there. It would have been dead. I would have been in a great position. Don't know why I didn't. I don't know why I didn't. So now we've got a Ferrothorn, which really, honestly, isn't the end of the world. It's a Ferrothorn. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to switch out my Mienshao because I'm fearing like a Gyro Ball. That would kill my Mienshao. So I bring in Charizard because it can eat up a Gyro Ball. And I actually think, you know what? I think this is a good time to bring back out Goodra. Goodra's going to be pretty good against this team. Like I said before, Charizard, Goodra, and Mienshao are basically my win conditions. If I can keep them alive throughout the match, I can pretty much guarantee the win. So he actually goes for Thunder Wave onto the Mienshao, and I'm sort of glad that I chose that spot for Charizard because it's already poisoned. It can take a Thunder Wave. It can't be statused, and I was very happy with that. So again, Politoed comes in. Obviously, I'm not going to lock myself into Solar Beam because, of course, you know, the Politoed would kill me with Scald the next turn. I do go for Heat Wave, which does good damage, and I go for Fire Blast onto the Chansey. Now, had I double attacked that Ferrothorn, it probably would have gone down, but there was really no reason to. There was absolutely no reason to double attack that Ferrothorn because Heat Wave would have killed it anyway. So now I'm thinking, okay, what do I do? So I'm going to actually protect with my Charizard, and I'm going to Draco Meteor the Politoed. It's guaranteed to kill it. It's guaranteed to kill it. He protects with the Chansey, which is an odd choice because, you know, nothing can really do anything to him. But he predicts the Protect and actually goes for Ice Beam on my Goodra. But thankfully, I am Assault Vest. Unfortunately, this is the turning point of the battle. I missed the Draco Meteor. And I was super salty. I was so pissed because that was such an important turn. Had I killed that Politoed, what I would have done, switched out my Charizard this turn for something else because I want to preserve my Charizard, of course, but I have to kill this Politoed in order to win the game. So I had to stay in and go for a Ancient Power, which unfortunately puts me in range to die from Seismic Toss because of poison. So that miss was so crucial, and you'll see why it was so crucial later on in the match, but I was so pissed. But you know what? It really is part of the game, and, you know, while 90% accuracy is extremely unlucky to miss, it really does happen, and that's why I said at the beginning of the game, I really should have brought out my, I should have put on Thunderbolt, because I wouldn't have had to worry about that miss. So here I'm expecting the Chansey to protect yet again. And I'm also predicting the Scizor to want to kill my Cresselia. So what I do is I Helping Hand boost my Mienshao to go for a high jump kick against Scizor. I'm like, that's gotta kill it. I have power, I have everything, but it doesn't kill. And I'm thinking, what is he running? How did that not kill? Helping Hand, stab, base 130 power. That is a ridiculously powerful move. How did that not kill? That just blew my mind. I didn't know what to do. I was like, seriously? Seriously? But he ends up toxicking me, which really in the long run isn't the end of the world. I much rather would have preferred Seismic Toss, but I was like, how did you not kill? You're a fighting type. So I finally go for high jump kick on the Chansey. I was like, there's no way he's going to protect at this point. He hasn't protected the entire time Mienshao's been out. There's no way he's going to protect this time. And finally, I was right. I go for Fire Blast because I'm like, it's still 4 times weak. It's still going to do good damage. And it does do good damage. And then he goes, I went too cocky. He probably should have attacked me with Gyro Ball here because it would have killed me. And he did get pretty cocky there. So I'm thinking, okay, I still have a decent chance here. You know, I only have Goodra, and I only have Mienshao left. But, listen to me, guys. There's a good chance I can come out of this. I mean, he has Zapdos here, right? Not the end of the world. I outspeed it. I have Rock Slide. That's fine. I don't really care. Unfortunately, he protects. And that sort of sealed the deal, because unfortunately he does have a Scizor in the back, and the only way I can really beat him is if he decides to bullet punch or not bullet punch anything at all. If he decides to do that, you know, hey, I have a good chance. So this is sort of why I said that the Draco Meteor miss was really crucial, because at this point in the game I would still have my Charizard and I would be able to bring it in after, say, Goodra dies and like, you know, actually kill these things, because I'd have enough HP to absorb a bullet punch. But unfortunately, Rock Slide doesn't even kill the Scizor. This thing must have a lot of defenses. I know both of those attacks were neutral, but I have a good attack, so I don't know. But that miss, you know, I was so salty about it because it was so crucial. You know, all he had left was the Chansey, the Zapdos, Ferrothorn, and Scizor. So what I would have done would have, the next turn I would have switched out my Charizard, probably for Mienshao, who can take a Seismic Toss, go for that. Well, it all depended on what he brought in, but most likely Mienshao. My Goodra wouldn't be in the red, so I would be able to take a bullet punch. I wouldn't... Oh, I would have brought in Cresselia, right. I would have brought in Cresselia because Cresselia can take attacks. So I honestly would have been in a better position, and then I could have brought in Charizard later to clear out the rain indefinitely. But unfortunately, you know, things like that does happen, and it's unfortunate. You know, it is unlucky, but it does happen, and you know, you can't really let it get to you, because I was so mad. I was so mad because I had a perfect record so far, and I theoretically had the match in the bag once that Politoed would have gone down to that Draco Meteor. But oh my god, I was so close. I was so close. Either way, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and you know, I hope to see you guys at the next episode. Peace.